Hey guys, what's going on? So today we're going to take a look, obviously, as you can see, at an NFT minter. And this is just a simple website that I threw together where you can upload a photo and then mint it to a Solana NFT. So we're going to see how you create NFTs on Solana, how you can upload metadata and have images and stuff like that, and also how you can build a front end like this. So we'll take a look at all those things. Just going to show you guys how this site kind of works real quick, and then we'll just go take a look at the code. So you can see here I've got my wallet connected. And then once I'm connected here, I can access the site. You can see my Sol balance. And now I'm going to just choose a photo. And I'm going to go with this crying Jordan meme because it's hilarious. And you can see here's the crying Jordan meme. I just uploaded it to the site. And now I'm going to hit mint. And once I do this, there's going to be a number of things to approve. And I'll explain why there's so many as we look at the code, because you don't necessarily have to do it like this, but you'll see why when we look at the code. So first we're going to be, advised that we're sending a little bit of Sol, and then we're going to have to sign a message, and then we're going to have to do that process again. So you can see again that we will be this time signing another message, and finally we will be sending a little bit of Sol, but then receiving unknown, and that's going to be our NFT. And so, boom, we're done. You can see here's the transaction signature, and here is the mint. And if we open this, we can find it on Explorer. And there is our Crying Jordan NFT. You can see it's a member of the Solana Workshops NFT collection. And if we scroll down, we can take a look at some of the attributes and the metadata associated with this NFT, right? So right off the bat, you can see that the JSON payload that we use to create this thing is actually on Arweave. So if we go look at Arweave, we can see this JSON. Actually, wait a second. I had these quotes in here. We can see this JSON payload right here. And then if we take the image URL and we go ahead and navigate to that, you can see also on Arweave is our Crying Jordan image, right? So this site actually went and did that for us. It uploaded our image to Arweave. It uploaded our JSON object that describes the metadata to Arweave. And then it created the on-chain representation of the metadata where it just points out to this Arweave link. So that's pretty important, right? So this stuff is what we actually put on chain. And then you can see up in the JSON payload, we have a little bit of more fields, including the link to that image. And that's how these things kind of work on Solana is you have this JSON object, and that's what the URI points to. And then that can have all your different fields and attributes, including an image, which is what, these different explorers and stuff are designed to kind of render. So that's why it looks like this. And you can feel free to explore a little bit more. You can also take a look at the signature and you can see all the steps that were kind of involved in minting this NFT. And then ultimately get down to the point where we have created it and it gets minted to our person. So there's a lot of stuff in here, a lot of steps that are being abstracted away. But let's take a look at how the code works behind this bad boy, right? Like, let's see how we actually pulled this off. So for starters, before I do that, I want to just say, if you guys want to search Solana Workshops GitHub on Google, you could find this organization on GitHub here. And inside of it is the repository for NFT Minter. And there's also a link in the GitHub README for the organization too. If you go right here, you can find NFT Minter and head over that way. So either way, once we're in here, you guys could clone this down. You could play around with it. You could do your thing. And there's going to be a link to this recording actually in here as well. And so I've already got this cloned down to VS Code. So that's where I'm going to kind of go to right now. So for starters, this whole repository was created using what's called the Solana DApp scaffold. So you can clone the DApp scaffold if you just search Solana DApp scaffold. You should be able to find it right here in Solana Labs. And this is just a Next.js like template repository that gives you a lot of like out of the box stuff and some cool like configs for Tailwind, and it'll kind of look like this. And you can customize it all you want. And then as you can see from this image, we can also type npx create Solana DApp. And if I show you what that looks like on the terminal here, we can just do npx create Solana DApp, and I'm just going to call it test DApp. And if I do that, it'll actually spin up for me a repository with a program and a UI framework set up in it, which is going to be nice. And I'm just going to move this down here onto my lower terminal here. And so when that finishes, you can see inside of here is going to be a Next.js app and a program. And I think this one here is going to be Anchor by default. Yeah, but you can also add different flags and stuff to change that. So you can have a native program. You can use different front end frameworks like Vue and Svelte. So definitely take a look at that. But I'm going to just go ahead and delete this for now. So anyway, that's how we got our like base repository going. So now let's take a look at some of the code in here. So for starters, this does not involve a Solana program or a contract that we created. It's using all of the native stuff on Solana already. So system program, token program, associated token program, and then Metaplex's metadata program. And so if we take a look here, you can ignore a lot of these files. These are just like next files and different like linter configs and stuff like that. The main thing that we want to see where all the magic is happening is going to be this NFT minter component and this Metaplex util file. So before I get into those two files though, I'm going to quickly go over some of the cool stuff that the scaffold gives you. So you can see that there's some different like stuff for the app bar, there's a content container, and you can see a lot of these like components that you can be reusing, including the requesting airdrop and signed message, right? So very handy stuff to have already in your repo. You got some nav stuff. You got some stores for user soul balance, notifications on the wallet, stuff like that. And then in the context, you can see here is the context for the wallet connection. And this is where we actually have all the supported wallets. And we're going to set up our connection to whatever endpoint we're using, in this case, DevNet. And you can see that that's how we get that button up top that allows us to connect people's wallets. And then because this is a context, we can actually just go ahead and use that context anywhere in our application. So if you look at the NFT minter component, you can see this use wallet becomes available. Because we've got that context, it's connected, we know it's connected, and we can use it. So pretty cool stuff. And then all you really do is just add the wallet button. So if we look at like the app bar, you can see that here's the wallet multi button being added right there, right? So pretty simple. And then that enables you to connect wallets to your app without really any kind of overhead. So pretty neat stuff. Anyways, let's get into the actual NFT minter, right? So I said it was going to be in this component, NFT minter, and in this util file, Metaplex, right? So for starters, for those of you guys who know React, none of this is going to look very surprising, right? That we've got an upload image function, and then we've got a click mint NFT function. And both of those are hooked to the different buttons, right? So when you uploaded the image, that's this input. And then when you minted the NFT, it runs that function. Pretty straightforward. And just for reference, when you upload this photo, all it's really doing is just saving it to the local like public folder. And it's just going to overwrite it every time someone uploads an NFT. It really is only designed to stay there until you click the mint button. So it's kind of like a little bit of a hacky way to do it, but just to get that image cached and put onto your server so that your Metaplex call can actually convert that. So speaking of which, this is going to be our function that we use to create this NFT. And now the neat thing about this is I've just wrote this function myself, right? So we just pass in all this stuff. And then when it completes, we're just going to go ahead and get the signature and the address. This is that function right here. And you can see this is it. This is very simple. This is all you need to do to create that NFT. So what's happening in here? We are uploading that image to Arweave. We're uploading that JSON file to Arweave. Then we're creating the NFT, and then we're minting one of those NFTs back to you, the user, right? There's only one step involved here that isn't included in this function, and I'll show you guys that in a second, and that's going to be creating the collection that this NFT is going to belong to. So if you take a look here, you can see that we've got this to Metaplex file from browser, and this is going to actually create the image into a Metaplex file, which is going to allow us to put it on Arweave. And then upload metadata is also sending that JSON to Arweave. So those two things are Arweave involved. And then here, when you do nfts.create, that will actually create the NFT. And then when you do this mint tokens true, that will also send one of those NFTs to you, the user who's actually minting this NFT. So pretty cool. The actual like collection that I used here, you can see it right here being passed in as a parameter. And if we pop this open, you can see that I've just got a hard-coded public key. So let's talk about collections for a second, and then we'll explore a little bit more about the Metaplex SDK. So if you look up Metaplex NFT collection, you should be able to find this page right here. And this is one of the easiest ways to do it, in my opinion. You just go through this like steps here, and you can create yourself a new NFT collection. And you can do this from like a JavaScript script. You can do it from the command line. There's a couple different ways you can do it, but this is just an easy, like user-friendly way to do it. And what this is actually for is to create, it's going to make an account on chain that is of type collection, right? Metaplex collection. And then your NFTs in their metadata point to this collection saying that they're a member of this collection. So that's how you can set up collections of all different NFTs and stuff like that. And what's cool about it is you end up with stuff like this where you can open your wallet and you can click your assets, and then you can see that like in this Solana Workshops NFTs collection, I've got a bunch of different NFTs. You can see I've got 9 of them from this collection, and these are all just different NFTs that I've minted, including our Crying Jordan, from that minter using that collection, right? And so if you guys are using this minter too, that's like what you'll see as well in your wallet. So it adds like a cool like grouping aspect to wallets as well, amongst other things. And there's a whole bunch of stuff you can do with like royalties and different things like that as far as collections go. So pretty cool stuff. And then once you've got the collection out of the way and you're on to sort of like minting the NFT, and you know that like you're going to pass in these parameters here, and you know what your collection is going to be, this SDK is actually pretty new at the time of recording this. So a lot of people are probably familiar with using Metaplex Foundation / Metaplex token metadata or MPL token metadata, I forget exactly. And with that SDK, you can actually build the instructions and you can package those into a transaction and you can send them. And so just a note of reference here, if you do that with the instructions and you already have your information on Arweave, you can actually put all those instructions into one transaction, and then you'd only need one signature on your website. But in this example, I'm showing you how to do all of the Arweave stuff as well with the Metaplex SDK. And so a lot of those like message signing requests are happening because you need to actually auth with Bundler, so you can actually put something up to Arweave using Bundler. So anyway, if we search for Metaplex Foundation /JS, this is going to be the brand new repository, and you can find it on NPM here, but I'm going to go right to the GitHub, and you can see right here, they're actively working on this thing, and it's still pretty new, but here's some docs on how to use it. And you can see that like, here's some of the stuff we were doing, right? You can use the bundler storage, and you can actually do all these different things with NFTs. So you can find all by owner, find by creator, right? You can do stuff like looking up NFTs based on different fields. So this is going to be really, really useful for you guys in doing any NFT builds that you might want to do. So you can see some examples of using all that functionality. Pretty straightforward. And so I encourage you guys to take a look at this repo. You can find it in the README as well. But that's really it, guys. Like, this is really that simple. Like I said, the rest of the stuff is really just like dApp scaffold configs that kind of came out of the box with it. And I didn't use a program in this, so I just have the app repo. But yeah, that's really all it takes is I just wrote this component and then I just added that function to use Metaplex's SDK, and you're done. So pretty neat stuff. And one thing I could show you as well is this is the like upload function here that I have, where I'm just like hackily saving your image, you know, to the local storage on my server. So pretty interesting though. But yeah, guys, I encourage you to take a look with that that Metaplex JS SDK, expand on it, use it. There's a lot more fields you can do and create and stuff like that. You can pop it open and take a look at all the different stuff, like create NFT input, right? So there's a lot of things you can add. And you can also leverage the new token program using this SDK as well, Token 2022. So that's really all, guys. Boot that thing up, have some fun minting some NFTs, and enjoy it. Later.